Welcome back to Mac Talks Football, and it's the final of the Champions League. It's Inter Milan versus PSG. It is Inter Milan representing Italy versus PSG representing the French league, and it is one of the two teams. It is it is an interesting final because none of those two teams were the favorite of the bookies at the start of the season. Nobody really thought that they could end up being in the final at the start of the season. But this is why you love the Champions League. You just don't know which two clubs are gonna make it into the final two. And the funny thing is that both of these teams have had a sort of completely different campaigns, especially when it comes to Europe. I mean, Inter Milan were in the top of four of the teams. Were one of the top four teams in the group phase. So they had a really easy campaign, so to say. They are a very strong campaign, to be very honest. That's the right word to use. PSG, on the other hand, they were on the brink of elimination in the group phase. They had to win their last two games to somehow make it into the knockout stages, and they did that. And then the knockout stages, they have been brilliant. They defeated Aston Villa. They went on to defeat Arsenal in the semi-final. That was a really hard for tactically, a really tactical battle between Hansi Flick and Mikel Arteta, and they came, away with a win against the Gunners over two legs. Inter Milan, on the other hand, themselves, their knockout stages have been fun as well, and their semi-final against Barcelona, I mean, that has to be probably one of the best two-legged semi-final tie that I have seen in a number of years. I think that could be possibly one of the best semi-final ties over two legs in the Champions League, if I'm being very honest with you. The way that the game was played, with the tempo, the football, the goals, the moments, I think that was probably, as I said, my favorite two-legged semi-final tie in the competition. So both of these teams have now come up, and I think it will be a very, very interesting final. And the funny thing is, as both of these teams are going to play with a completely different style, you are going to have that that sort of like the caginess, the tactical shrewdness that we had between Inter and Arsenal, and then you are going to have that PSG and Arsenal, and then you have going to have that high attacking counter attacking style football that we had between Inter and Barcelona. So now both of these two teams are going to combine. I think it'll be a very interesting game, especially because how the first 20 minutes, I think 20 to 25 minutes are going to really going to matter, in my opinion. PSG are going to come out of the block, and they're going to go ahead and they are going to attack. They are going to play that pressing football. They want to go ahead and take early advantage over Inter Milan. They're going to push Inter Milan to the limit, in my opinion, and they're going to press really, really hard. That has been Hansi Flick's main goal. That has been his secret weapon in a way. Every European game he has tried to do that against every big opponent. They have been able to do that, and the teams that have been not being able to contain that, they have suffered that. Arsenal in the first leg, they were not really able to contain that, and they ended up conceding a goal, and that basically costed them the game at the moment, because the moment PSG scored that first goal, then the onus is on the opposite team. They have to come back and come out, and they have to change sort of their tactics and start to play football the way that PSG want to play them, and that becomes a real big problem. So as I said, that first 20-25 minutes, when they're going to go ahead, they're going to go gung-ho, and they're going to press the hell out of Inter, and they're going to make sure that they Inter stay in their half. That is going to be very important. How Inter are able to contain them in the early stages of the game, that is going to be really crucial. Inter, to be very honest with you, they are not going to be that much better, in my opinion, with not having the ball. PSG love having the possession, but Inter are not really going to be that much better. We saw that against Barcelona, as said, and we have seen the way they have played in Serie A as well, and in the Champions League throughout the course, that they don't really care. They are very good defensively. Inter are very good at that, and that is going to really help them. And they love playing on that counter attack. They're going to they play with that back five. Supposedly it's a back three, which turns back five with when Dumfries and DeMarco, both of them come back, and it becomes a back five. So, and that's going to be really helpful against the PSG side, who's going to come and they're going to try to press them. They're going to try to pack them back in their own half. So having that extra player, and then the midfield is going to really help them out as well. I think the main battle is going to be in that midfield. I mean, the players like Vitinha and João Neves, and you have Canoglu, and you have Barella. All of these players, the battle is going to be between the midfield. Whichever team's midfield is comes out on top, I think that team could end up winning the game. And another important battle, I think, it's going to be on the wings. As I already said, that you have that a 5-man defense and then a 5-man midfield when they go out and attack. The battle between the fullbacks, PSG wingers and the Inter fullbacks is going to be really really interesting. Dumfries, and you can have Vestakalia there, you can have Desire Due there, Barcola could play there, Marco is going to be on the other hand side. So both of these wingers can switch, and the fullbacks backs are going to have a really interesting time there. So it will be a very a cutthroat final, to be very honest with you. I don't think you are going to see that end-to-end stuff that we saw in that Inter Barcelona final. I am not really expecting that. I think there are going to be big moments. I don't think there are going to be that many chances in the game. In my very humble opinion, I think we are not going to get a lot of goals in this game. We might end up seeing a couple of goals, or maybe a one goal might win this game, if I'm being very honest with you. There are going to be very few chances, but in my opinion, the chances are going to be very very big. I don't, because both of the defenses are really good as well. So all of this is going to play into that. At the end of the day, again, both of these teams have recently lost finals as well, and the pressure, in my opinion, would be mostly on Inter in a way, because about a month and a half ago they were on their way to a treble. They've lost the Coppa Italia already. And they got knocked out by their fiercest rivals. They lost the league on the last day of the season, and now this is basically their last sort of hope to win something in the season. A season which looked like it was going to be an extraordinary season could end up being a trophyless season. So I would assume more pressure is on Inter, on Inzaghi and the players. And the fact is that they have this history behind as well. I mean, Inter in Europe are always special. So I think that is going to be playing on their minds as well. And of course, as I said, a team who was about to win a treble now is on the verge of being trophyless. So that's a different sort of pressure. And then the pressure is going to be on PSG as well. But in my opinion, there's going to be more pressure on Inter, but the pressure is going to be on PSG as well. I mean, they could end up becoming the European champions for the first time, and not only that, they could end up winning the treble. They have already won the league, they won the Copa de France a week ago, and now there's a chance that they might end up winning the Champions League, and they could end up winning the treble. So it is a different sort of pressure. They are on the verge of creating history, PSG, and that's a different kind of pressure. And I think this is where the big players, the experienced players are going to come up, and they are going to really have to guide the younger players. If you really look at it, PSG don't have that many players. I mean, especially if you look at their attack, they don't really have that many players who have really won things with the club or with the country. And majority of the PSG squad, they don't really have serial winners. I think that is one thing, but they really have big characters, and that would really help them. Inter, on the other hand, they have people are going to say that this side just won the won the league, and they won the league last year as well. That is one thing. Winning the league is one thing. I always say winning your country's league is a massive thing. But playing in a final, that everything resting on a single game, that is a different sort of a pressure that a lot of the people can't really deal with. And unfortunately for PSG, they don't have that many players who have been in this sort of situation before. Fortunately for Inter, they have a lot of players who have been in this sort of situation, and that can really help them. But I still think the way that PSG are playing, it's a very very hard final to predict, to be very honest with you. It's literally like a coin toss. You just don't know where the final is gonna go, if I'm being very honest with you. And that is why, as I said, it is a really really hard one. I think, as I said, I don't think there are not going to be that many goals there, but I just don't know. I just think it is gonna. It feels like it's gonna be PSG's year. The way that they have came out from this this tournament, the way they were on the brink of elimination so many times. They almost got out in the group phase. Then against AC Milan, they almost got out. Against Liverpool, they almost got out. So you see the story is there. The story is there for PSG, and I think they are going to complete it, but I don't think it's going to be easy. I'm going for a very very hard fought 1-1 draw in full time, and then PSG to win it in extra time. I'm going for a 2-1 win for PSG to become the European champions and to complete their treble. That is for me in this video. Let me know what you guys thought of the game. Think of the game. Who do you think is going to win, and what is your score prediction? Let me know in the comment section below. Like the video, share it as well. Click on the notification bell, and of course subscribe to the channel. Until next time, bye bye.